Hello, my name is Michael Iwama, and I am Chair and Professor of the Department of Occupational Therapy at Georgia Regents University. And it is my special honor today to be able to spend a few moments answering some questions that have been given to me by the great students of occupational therapy at ETOS, the Occupational Therapy School of Osnabrück. I want to say a special hello, of course, to my very good friend and colleague, Ms. Imke Winkelman, who I love dearly, and we've been good friends for so many years. It is such a pleasure to be able to be involved in her class today, and it's just wonderful to be able to have this opportunity to connect internationally and to share these ideas across the Atlantic Ocean. So without any delay, let me just get into trying to answer the questions that you have given to me. These are all wonderful questions, and I think that there were 17 questions in all, but I've elected to just go through perhaps 5 or 6 of these questions because I think that some of the answers and some of these questions are quite related. So by answering some of the questions, I may actually be giving answers for quite a number of the questions that you've put forward to me. And if I don't cover something and you really want to know an answer to a particular question, please forward your question to me again through Imke, and I'll be very happy to be able to answer them to the best of my knowledge. I hope that I speak English slowly enough for you to understand what I am saying, because my ability to speak Deutsch is very limited. So please pardon me for not being able to give this to you in your native language. The first question that was put forward to me about the Kawa model is, number 1, can you please tell us something about the underlying theory, the Eastern Perspective? Yes, absolutely. The Eastern Perspective of life in general, of the universe, the relationship between the self and the universe and the environment, I believe differs very much from the way that you might see things in your philosophy in your part of Europe, your part of Germany. I want to just say that the basic view of how Japanese people view life and view the self and view the nature and the environment is very similar to the way that many of the so-called primitive people of the world also view the world. And I'm speaking specifically to the peoples of the world, for example, the Salmi people of northern Finland and Sweden, as well as the Maori people of New Zealand, the Aborigine of Australia, the Mapuche people of South America in the area of the world that we know as Chile, as well as the First Nations people of Canada, or often referred to as the American Indian of North America. All of these different peoples, and I believe also many people of the African continent, share a particular view or philosophy of reality, the cosmos, the world, the self, the universe, and so on, that differs quite a bit from how many Westerners or people in Western Europe have come to know and understand the world around them. The basic difference, if we look at the more old primitive view of the world, is one in which the concept of the self and the environment are instead of being two separate entities as they are in the Western world, the self and the environment, the spiritual world, the sea, the sky, the mountains, the ocean, people, animals, insects, snakes, bugs, trees, living and dead trees, all of this matter are all connected together in one inseparable whole. Okay, so everything is dependent on each other, and although everything is in flux or in a dynamic kind of movement and adjustment, everything is all together in one connected whole. Much of the writing that you come across in Buddhism as well as in Hinduism also speak of a similar view of reality in the world where everything is connected together. It was in Western philosophy that we begin to see the rationalization of our views of reality in the world. That is, that instead of everything all jumbled together and mixed together in one inseparable whole, that we see a logical separation of all of these different parts. And so, for example, there is a tendency for people in the Western world to hold a philosophical view that all things in the world around us, including ourselves, are made up of many, many, many different smaller parts. And all of these parts all fit together in a logical format. And we don't just do that about people and objects in the world, but also with regard to environments and space around us, as well as another dimension, and that is a dimension of time. I have to laugh a little bit when I think about my answer to this, because I remember the first time that Imke Winkelmann welcomed me to Germany and gave me instructions on how to get to Osnabrück from wherever it was that I was traveling from Frankfurt, I believe, from the airport. And I had to ride on the various trains on the Deutsche Bahn. And before I came to Germany, I learned that Germans are the world champions of rational thinking, that everything is very organized, everything is put together so very logically and efficiently and effectively. That's what Germany is famous for. At least that is the reputation that you have. There's also an expectation that your Deutsche Bahn system also runs exactly on time. And very much like your classrooms and the meetings that you have in Germany, where everything starts right at the time that it's supposed to. And I was astonished to find that the first train that I got on in Germany was actually late. So, not very German, the Deutsche Bahn. Okay? I hope that's enough to give you some ideas about the differences in the Eastern perspective. The Eastern perspective is that all things in the world and in the universe, including humans and animals, rocks and trees and air and so on, everything is connected together in a very complex, fluid whole. That when parts of it change, so does everything else. And it's in the rational part of the world, like in Germany and America and so on, especially in countries that have been affected greatly by the Judeo-Christian religions, that we see a separation of all of the elements, so that we have God Almighty at the top, and then we have me, myself, next, and then we have everybody else, all of the other human beings, and then at the very bottom is nature, that has been given to us for our use and our pleasure, and that we're supposed to take care of the world as well, which is something that we don't do very well, but that's the basic difference in the way that the philosophical view of reality.